Right, before you watch this video, I've got a little confession to make. Regarding the removal of the OEM silencer, I made a bit of a mistake. I'll try to explain. I actually filmed that part of this video on the first day of my holiday about a month ago. And I had my having some time off head on and I was in a bit of a rush. Now, I honestly couldn't tell you how many exhaust silencers I've fitted on motorcycles over the years, but it's a lot. And I wrongly assumed that this would just be the same as every other silencer I'd removed. I have a Haynes manual, but I didn't look at it. I just steamed ahead and got the shoot done so that I could enjoy some time off. Now, when you're editing these videos together, you actually view the video through a preview pane, which isn't much bigger than a mobile phone screen, and it's not full resolution. And I didn't notice that anything was amiss until the video had been rendered ready for upload, by which time it was a bit too late to do anything about it. The classic 500 exhaust has a sort of a cowling or heat shield over it. And along the length of that cowling or heat shield are 3 screws. These screws need to be removed and the cowling taken off and unclipped where it joins onto the header pipe before you can go on with removal as demonstrated in this video. Now, in my case, it didn't matter because I've got no intention of ever putting the OEM silencer back on again. But for you watching this video, it might matter. So remove those 3 screws and remove the cowling before undertaking the procedure that I show you in this video. That is the correct way to do it, not the way I did it. Now, in my case, it had slightly damaged and bent some thin metal tabs. They're not going to stop it from being refitted. I could refit it if I want to. I just don't want anyone else to follow my example and cause damage which might cause them some problems in the future. Right, that's it. That's all I've got to say. Let's get on with it. I don't think a bike could get any more classic than the classic 500 from Royal Enfield. You don't have to be a genius to work out that the original design of this bike was heavily influenced by the Art Deco period. A moment in history where grace and style were of paramount importance in motor vehicle design. But modern legislation, in particular emissions regulations, have taken their toll on the humble bullet. I've watched the silencers grow and grow over the years, from a signature period component into a grossly oversized carbuncle bolted onto the side of this bike. Now more than 3 times its original size. It's grown completely out of proportion with the rest of the bike. Now, I know some people like it, but for me it's completely spoiled the lines of the bike. And even from a distance, it looks like someone's just docked a Russian nuclear submarine at the side of the bike and tried to make it blend in. Now, it's not just Royal Enfield that's done this. Most bike manufacturers have been forced down this road. So the first thing most of us motorcyclists do when we get a bike like this is take that silencer off and replace it with something a little bit more stylish, a little bit more in keeping with the flavour of the bike. Enter Hitchcocks motorcycles. Hitchcocks have been the go-to resource for Royal Enfield spares and accessories for as long as I can remember, decades in fact. And this is their British-made pea-shooter style silencer for the C5 model bullets. Now, you're going to notice some continuity differences in this video. I originally filmed the fitting about a month ago, then I took a couple of weeks off, and then we had 2 weeks of torrential rain. So the filming for this all went to pot, really. In fact, the sound check component of this video is going to have to be made in a different video because I just haven't been able to fit it in. So bear with me. For this video, I thought we'd concentrate on a good close look at this silencer and how to fit it, because I think it's always handy to have an online resource that just helps people either make a decision or to assist them with fitting if they're a little bit unsure. Now this is a genuine made in England component rather than a foreign import, and yes, you do pay a slight premium for this, but in this case I think it's worth it. There's nothing space age about this silencer. It's a traditional silencer for a traditional bike, constructed with a good quality mild steel and then chrome plated, and I have to say this is the best chrome plate I've seen in a decade or so. Deep, luxurious and flawless, just like it used to be in the old days, with all the welding properly ground down flat and then properly polished prior to plating. In fact, it's so good it almost looks like it's been hydroformed. Now, the silencer itself has a two-stage baffle system. Some permanent baffles are built in, and then so that it can be tailored to personal preference, this pipe is also supplied with an optional baffle so that the rider has a choice. Fitting and removal of this secondary baffle is really easy, it just takes seconds. It slots into the muzzle of the tailpipe and is then just secured in place with a single nut and bolt. Hitchcocks have built plenty of adjustability into the design of this silencer, which is nice. The silencer itself comes with everything that you need, but the way Royal Enfield have designed the stock parts means that there's a rather unsightly join, and there is an additional component required just to cover that up and make it nice, neat and tidy. This comes in the form of a sort of a heat shield or trim plate. It's an optional extra, it's down to the individual, but personally, again, I think it's worth the £18 asking price. As I said at the beginning, these are not the cheapest pipes on the market, but as I've said before so many times, you get what you pay for, with quality and adjustability, in my opinion, been worth its weight in gold. Right, let's get on with the fitting. The first thing that you need to do is loosen off or remove the clamp that holds the OEM silencer onto the downpipe, and this can be found underneath the ankle guard towards the front. Don't forget to put all these fasteners that you remove in a safe place and keep them in case you ever need to return your bike back to its original spec. Once you've done that, it's time to turn your attention to the rear middle of the silencer. Now, because of the ridiculous size and weight of this silencer setup, Royal Enfield have had to secure it in two places to basically stop it snapping in half where the silencer meets the downpipe. The first of these securing points is located behind the right-hand rear foot peg, and it's actually part of the foot peg assembly. A ratcheting ring spanner set is really useful for a job like this. I couldn't get access from underneath because the existing silencer was way too bulky, so I had to unfasten it from the top, which was a little bit awkward. But once you've got the nut unfastened, leave the silencer hanging on that foot peg and then move on to the next fastener. This is situated on the frame just in front and below that rear foot peg. A single bolt, really easy to get to, and once you've removed it, remembering to all intents and purposes that the whole system is now just been supported by that single foot peg thread, it's time to get on and remove the entire silencer assembly. Now remember to keep your silencer supported at all times until you've actually removed it from the downpipe. It's very heavy, and the downpipe is only actually held in place by the manifold clamp. I found that the actual silencer clamp had been over tightened at the factory, which meant that even though I'd taken it off, it was still gripping the downpipe very tightly. If you found the same, perseverance and patience, some gentle jiggling and twisting, and it will eventually come away. Now in your kit you will find a Royal Enfield exhaust gasket included. The old one will either be stuck inside the old silencer or it will be damaged on removal, so this is essential. and it simply inserts into the end of your silencer where the silencer is to be fitted onto the downpipe. It should insert reasonably easy, but be warned, these things are very soft, so if you have any problems, just persuade it into place with pressure from your fingers. Don't be tempted to use a mallet or a piece of wood or anything. Now, this kit comes with its own stainless steel bracket, which fastens onto the silencer using a rather ingenious slide method, which allows you to adjust the silencer for both length and height. It's a very simple square nut that fits into a captive slider on the side of the silencer. This bracket is slotted at one end and has just a single hole at the other end. The slotted end should be fastened to your silencer with a single hole used at your foot peg fastening point. Don't forget to put the supplied clamp that comes with the kit onto your silencer before inserting it onto the downpipe, and once you've done that, just slide it into place. Now, back to that bracket. Offer your exhaust bracket up to the foot peg mount, but leave everything loose at this point so that you can make any adjustments that need to be made. Once you're happy that you've got your pipe in the right position and that it's level, tighten up the bracket where it meets the silencer. That will effectively set its position so that it won't go out of whack again while you're fastening everything back up. You can then go ahead and fasten up your foot peg, and when you've done that, tighten up the exhaust clamp where the silencer meets the downpipe. Your entire exhaust system should now be secure, and the final thing to do is put that trim plate in place. Now, this is a simple but really clever solution. On the back of the trim plate, there are two sets of sort of staples or tabs. The plate comes with a couple of stainless steel Jubilee clips. Fully unfasten the Jubilee clips and then just slot them through those tabs. Then carefully fit this plate over the join on the exhaust system, and then fasten the Jubilee clips back up. When you're putting it on, be careful to hold the ends of the Jubilee clips away from your exhaust pipe. You don't want to scratch it. Adjust it in a position that suits you and then tighten everything up. It's worth taking the time just to think this through so that all your fasteners are facing the same way for ease of fitting. This bit is a little bit fiddly, but it's worth taking your time over it to make sure that you get it so that it looks right, neat and tidy when you've finished. And that's basically all there is to it. Really, it is quite an easy and straightforward job. Now, this is a really handsome little exhaust system, and its proportions fit exactly with the proportions of the bike. And next week, I will take this system through a sound check, and I'll give you my thoughts on whether there are any differences to the performance of the bike and how it affects it. Now, the first time you start the bike up, don't rev it, just allow it to idle for about 5 to 6 minutes. The O2 sensors in your downpipe will detect any differences that these pipes make and make any adjustments that need to be made. After that, you're good to go. I will, as always, leave a link in the video description down below to Hitchcock's website for these two parts that I've fitted. Once again, I would like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this and my other videos, and in doing so helping to support this channel. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be informed whenever I upload a new video. I will of course be back on Friday. I'll be looking at a new seat for the liquid cooled Bonnevilles from Motone Customs, so until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.